What's up, peeps? Hey, a lot of you have commented that you like my editing, and I really appreciate that. I've entered an editing contest, and it would be awesome if you would go over to the site and vote. You don't have to give them any information, nothing. You just go over, watch the video, and you click vote. And if you're able to, share it on your social media platforms. That would rock. Here's a little preview of the video, and then we'll get started with the vlog. $187.8 pounds. That's epic. Shooting with the GoPro, so you can see all this extra room here. It's like wider field of view. John Bros asks if I'm going to start shooting in 4K. And the answer to that is yes and no. Yes, I might shoot some stuff in 4K, but I'm not going to deliver in 4K. I'm still just going to deliver in HD. I don't really think that there's a big difference sitting in your living room or looking on your phone or your tablet and watching 4K footage. As soon as you get about 6-7 feet away from the television set, really can't tell the difference. Unless you're watching like a golf match or a football game, one of those sport ball games, then you can, see every blade of grass. Came across a new app that I want to share, and it's called FaceApp. I don't get any money or anything for it, but that's what I would look like as an old guy, which oddly is, I don't think it's far-fetched. It kind of looks like my grandfather, kind of looks like my brother who's like, 6 years older than me, and kind of looks like my cousin. I mean, my dad is not, it's actually spooky. So if that is that good, that's what I would look like as a chick. So is that accurate? Which I wouldn't say she's hot, but she's not ugly. Kid Vince, I looked nothing like that. So that's not accurate. Anyway, I'm way behind on stuff, so let's get started with the day. First, I'm going to start out with a few minutes of GoPro tests. If you have no interest in GoPro tests, then jump ahead to this time right here. Alright. So my first question in doing comparison tests is, the stabilization says that it knocks off 10% of the image view, and I want to know how drastic that is, so let's have a look. The difference between linear and linear stabilized and narrow stabilized wasn't much. Narrow, the picture looks way grainy and kind of crappy, so I'm probably not going to go with that. So I think I'm going to shoot linear, and of course I'm going to use stabilization. It's not enough of a picture loss to not use stabilization. Next, what I did was I spent a ridiculous amount of time comparing what happens when you shoot at 4K and then you zoom in to an HD picture, or you shoot at 2K and you zoom into an HD picture, or you shoot at 4K and you squeeze it down, and I compared all of those. And rather than bore you, this is a graphic that shows those comparisons, and for those of you that are interested, you can pause here and examine this in more detail. But the end result is I decided the best thing to shoot is 2.7K linear. That allows me to shoot 30 frames a second and 60 frames a second if I want to slow things down, and it gives me a bigger picture so I can do some reframing, and it stabilizes. 4K on the GoPro does not have stabilization. So the last thing was the difference between shooting standard 1080-30 and shooting 2.7K 30 stabilized, what I decided on, and the end result ended up looking like this. So you could see that little jitter right there in the center, that the comparison between the two is pretty close. Like, if I zoom in on the, or I put the 2.7K at the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing. And then here you can see what happens when I take the 2.7K and blow it up, how far I can push in on it. So that's it, 2.7K. I think right now I'm gonna go walk the dogs. My buddy Tom Ayers asked me, how do you always have time to walk the dogs? I don't know that I always have time to. I try to. But it's like this. Whenever Deanna's around, I will stop what I'm doing to hang out with her. I will always make time for her. And that just flows over to other aspects of my life. The dogs come up to me, they want to go for a walk, we go for a walk. And on this walk, it takes so long because they stop and sniff stuff, and I let them, because for me it's exercise, but for them it's a sniff, it's not a walk. It is super windy out here, so I have no idea how this is going to sound. I discovered that the GoPro's way of dealing with wind is to automatically shift from the left and right speaker, and there's some latency in when it does that. So I've put it on stereo and I can just shift between left and right speaker in post. Speaking of which, I need to do some sound tests with the GoPro because the last vlog had a lot of issues with the audio, and we got to see how to fix that or how to work around it. Dog walk, 1.42 miles at a 24:13 pace. Now let's go do these audio tests. Once again, some GoPro tests. If these bore you, jump ahead to this time here. All right, this is the Polar Pro grip that I just used while I was walking the dogs. Let's see how it sounds. This is the GoPro clamp. This is the GoPro 3-way. It used to be my favorite. I took it to Europe before I tested it out, and as a result, when we came back from Europe, a lot of our footage was very noisy and very shaky, and I think it's because of this grip. I have a feeling that this frame actually adds noise. For the most part, I've just been carrying this thing around bare like this, but let's see what kind of noise it gets. There's one mic here, the left mic, and then there's another mic over here. Okay, so it turns out that 3-ways absolutely suck. And these are going in the trash. We're not using these anymore. Be sure to visit Rampant Dance and vote for my video. That would be awesome. You don't have to give them any information again. The link will be in the description down below, so it's really easy to click. And, share it with your social media. That would rock too. Now I'm going to try and do this pull-up. Someone told me that I need to do it from like a dead hang for like 1 second. So I'm going to try that. I think it's going to be a lot harder. I'm going to try it this way. Chin up. 1,000. Oh, Christ! My legs are crossed like the pros do it. Oh my God.